Hello. Hello, dear all students. Dear students, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. There may be a network problem, so you didn't logged in. Yes, right. Please, all of you, you check it. Am I audible, all of you? Okay, fine. Let's. We will start. Dear all students, again, very good afternoon, one and all. So please, I have to check. Am I audible? And my screen is visible to everyone, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, dear all students, already we have started with the first unit of microprocessor in the last lecture. I'm sorry to say this. Yesterday, I didn't able to handle the class, and for that yesterday's class lecture, I may arrange it some more in another one day, and I have to cover it for the yesterday's syllabus. Okay. So, dear all students, already we have started with uh, that first unit, introduction of microprocessor. So in that introduction of microprocessor, we have to taught definition of microprocessor uh, and bus architecture, components of microprocessor. These are the things we have to study, right? So introductions we have to study uh, components of microprocessor. There are three main components: arithmetic and logical units, register and control unit. And also we have to study bus system bus. There are three types of buses: data bus, address bus, and control bus. And there is a microprocessor system with bus organization also we have to cover in the last class. So please, I'll give you 5 minute time. Any doubts on previous lecture? Any doubts or any problems you are facing, or any kind of things you want to discuss, you discuss about this topic within 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes. Every my lecture at beginning, I will give you 5 minutes for discussion of previous lecture for your doubts. Okay. So like that, if you have any doubts, please you have to ask for 5 minutes. Can you please? Okay. If you don't have any doubts, next I will have to continue with the next question. Isn't it? Sir, आप ये 3:30 to 4:30 session ले ये ठीक है. Please, I didn't want to take it. Actually, मेरा था. Okay, fine. Then I will put the message. And no link पेस्ट दो. Okay, sir. Yes. Okay, fine. Dear students. Uh, so if no doubts, then I will continue with the next question. Okay, fine. So this is the thing. As per the syllabus, we have to cover next point, that is features and pin diagram of 8085 microprocessor. There is a once we come to know basic idea, basic introduction things, then immediately we will come to know features. Features means what? Main characteristics of 8085 microprocessor. Main characters are, we have to say, features of 8085 microprocessor. Along with that features, we have to study pin diagrams also. Okay. So at first, I have to take features of 8085 microprocessor. So in that the 80, so these are the 6 to 7 points I have to mention here. Very important for your exam point of view, mainly for practical overall examination purpose. Mainly for practical overall examination POE examination viva purpose, they have to ask what are the features of 8085 microprocessor. That time you have to mention these points. So what are those points? One by one, we will look into that. Here, the first features, that is 8-bit microprocessor. The 8085 microprocessor which can obeys the 8-bit microprocessor. It means that the read it can read and write to perform arithmetic and logical operations on 8-bit data at a time. On 8-bit data at a time. And also in the second main features of 8085, that is it has 8 lines and 16 address lines. 8 data lines, because in the bus system you have to study 3 types of buses: data bus, control bus, and address bus. So here in the 8085 microprocessor, the data bus are of 8 bits. The data bus are of 8 bits and the address bus are of 16 bits. It is one of the main character. So it means that the capacity of 2 raised to 16 is 64 kilobytes of memory. The capacity of 216 is nothing but that is 64 kilobytes of memory it can be capable at a time. And in the third one, that is clock frequency. So the 8085 microprocessor uses 3 megahertz, 3 into 10 to the power of 6. MHz means megahertz. 1 mega is equal to how much? As per your mathematical, 1 mega is equal to how much? That is 10 raised to 6. So that much capacity of hertz frequency is having this 8085 microprocessor. Is okay, fine. Yes, fine. So there is a fourth main character is it requires plus 5 volt of power supply, and fifth one, it has an clock generator on chip only along with the 8085 microprocessor. The clock generator is built in For that, we don't use any external clock generator, isn't it? And in the next features, it is a single chip NMOS. NMOS means what? Metallic, non-metallic oxide semiconductor devices. NMOS device implemented with minimum of 6,200 transistors. So in the 8085, it is having a minimum of 6,200 transistors are there, and also it provides 74 instructions with 5 address modes. The 8085 is having totally 74 instructions, 5 addressing modes. Okay, so that is one feature. And also in next feature, the 8085, it provides 7 hardware interrupts and 8 software interrupts. So totally I have to mention 8 points here. That is the main features of 8085. Here also same, just I have to one screenshot I have to mention. 8085 is developed by Intel and it is having a microprocessor capacity of 8-bit and it operates in +5 DC power supply, and it is designing with the NMOS, non-metallic oxide semiconductor technology, and minimum 6,200 transistors are used on a single chip, and it provides clock generator. So we don't use external clock generator. So the operation of 8085 is in 3 megahertz frequency, clock frequency, and the 8-bit multiplexed address data bus, which reduces the number of pins, and 16 address lines. Hence, it can address 2 raised to 16 is equal to 64 kilobytes of memory. It is not a bytes, it's a kilobytes of memory, and it can generate 8-bit, that is input and output addresses. Hence, it can access 2 raised to 8 is equal to 256 input and output ports. So, and also the 5 hardware interrupts and 8 software interrupts are present in the 8085, and it provides DMA. It means that dynamic memory access. There is a capable of dynamic memory access in the 8085. Very important topic for the practical overall examination, Viva. So please you have to remember all these features. Okay. So this is about features of 8085 microprocessor. So next I will move to the next point, that is pin diagram of 8085 microprocessor. So here I given one diagram. This is the pin diagram of 8085 microprocessor. So the pin diagram of 8085 microprocessor totally having a 40 pins. So in the logic design, AND gate, OR gate, NAND gate, NOT gate, XOR gate, XNOR gate, you may done the practical on your diploma course, but they are having only limited pins, 8 pins, 12 pins like that. But here in the 8085, it is having 40 pins, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 20 here, and 21 started and ends with 40. Totally 1 to 40 pins are present. So those individual pins, they are used for particular one on another working functionality. So that pin number 1, 2, 3. So here the pin number 12 to pin number 19. These are the address lines. That 0 to 7 means totally 8 address lines at pin number 12 to pin number 19. And the pin number 20, we have to connect it with the power supply of 5 volt. It is a ground. Power supply of it is a ground. And pin number 40, we have to give plus 5 volt power supply at the pin number 40. And pin number 1 and pin number 2, we have to use it for clock purpose, X1 and X2. And pin number 3 we are used for to reset out. And the pin number 5 and 4 we have to use it for serial input data and serial output data, SOD and SID. And the pin number 6 to pin number 9 we have to use the interrupt trap RST 7.5, RST 6.5, RST 5.5. This is the trap we have to use it for the interrupts. And here that 40 pin is used for plus 5 volt power supply, and 39 pins we use it for hold, and 38 pins we have to use for hold acknowledgement. HLDA means hold acknowledgement. And the pin number 37 we use it for clock out, and the pin number 36 we have to use it for reset in. 35 pin number for the ready state, and 34 pins we have to use it for input and output memory. So here in the 33 pins we use it for signal 1, S1, and 29 pins we use it for S0. So the 32 pins used for reading purpose, 31 pin used for writing purpose, and 30 pins is used for ALE, that is ALE purpose we have to use it. So in again that pin number 28 to pin number 21, it means that A8 to A15, 21 to 28, totally 8 address lines we are going to be used. These are the data lines. Pin number 12 to pin number 19 use data lines, and pin number 28 to pin number 21 we have to use address lines. So this is the structure of pin configuration, that pin diagram of 8085. So now one by one pin I will explain you whatever the 40 pins are present over here. Okay, so now so that either this diagram also okay, either you have to follow this diagram or you have to follow this diagram for the pin diagram of 8085. So here now I have to explain one by one in whatever the pins are present. Okay, so actually the main structure of 8085 is like this, but in a 120 pin one side and remaining 20 pin another side we have to use it. Okay, so here the pins of 8085 microprocessor can be classified into 9 main groups, totally 9 main groups. What are 9 main groups? That is address bus from the pin number 21 to 28, and the data bus from the pin number 12 to pin number 19. So here I have to mention pin number, and control and state signals, status signals. So like this, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, total 9 subgroups we have to make separately in the pin diagram of 8085. So the first category, that is address bus. In that address bus we are used total 8 data lines, address lines, that is pin number 21 to 28 pin. So and the A15 to A8 as in the diagram, A15 to A8, it means that A8 to A15, 21 to 28 pins, this A series, all are address bus, that is carries the most significant bits of 8 bits of the memory input output addresses. And next one, come to this point, pin number 18, 12 to pin number 18, that is address lines, AD1 to AD7 is nothing but it is a data bus, AD0 to AD7. So it carries the least significant bit of address line data bus. Previous one is that is related to memory. This is address line data bus. So next one, control and status signals we have to use at the pin number 32, 31, and 30. As in the diagram, pin number 30, 31, 32. 32 is for RD, read purpose. 31 is for write. 30 is for ALE. Same here we have to use read purpose, write purpose, ALE. Okay. So here in the read pin number 32, that's the ready state. It is that indicates that the selected input and output or the memory device is to be read and it is ready for the accepting data. RD in the sense what? Read and ready for the accepting the available data on the data bus. We have to use the pin number 32. And in the pin number 31, we have to use it for memory of writing purpose. So that is this signal indicates the data on the data bus. That is the data on the data bus, which is to be written into the selected memory input and output location. That is the pin number 32. And the pin number 30. In the pin number 30, it is used for to positive going pulse generated when a operation is started by the microprocessor. When the pulse goes high, it indicates that. When the pulse goes down, it indicates data. Whenever the pulse means high means what? Either it may be 1 and low means it may be 0. High means at one position, it indicates it is a memory or address. And if it is 0, when the pulse goes to down, if it is 0, then it indicates a data. That indication of pin number 30, 31 and 32 as in the pin diagram of 8085, 30, 31 and 32. So the next pin number 34, we are going to use IO bar M, input and output memory. Pin number 34, we are using input and output memory. What is main functionality of pin number 34? This signal is used to differentiate between input and output and memory operations. That is, when it is high indicates input and output operation, and when it is low indicates that is memory operation. That is just exactly opposite of ALE. Okay, it's a memory location whenever it becomes a 0 or come down. So that is a pin number 34. And in the pin number 33 and 29, there is a S1 and S0. Check it. S1 is pin number 33 and S0 is pin number 29. 29 pin and 33 pin, that is 29 and 30. So these signals are used to identify the type of current operation. Type of current operation means either it is going to be a only read operation or it is going to be read and write operation. For that purpose, we are using the pin number 33 and pin number 29. Okay. So next, we have to use 2 pins for power supply. So at pin number 40 and pin number 20, as in the diagram, pin diagram, there is a pin number 20, we have to use the VSS, and pin number 40, we have to use the VCC. So at the pin number 40, we are going to use a positive 5 volt power supply, and at the pin number 20 VSS, we are going to use negative 5 volt power supply. 20 and 40 pins are used for totally power supply purpose. So here there are 2 power supply signals, that is VCC at 40 pins and VSS at 20 pins. So the 40 VCC indicates plus 5 power supply and the VSS indicates it's a ground signal, means negative ground signal. So this is about 40 pins and 20 pins. So next, clock signals. So in the clock signals, we have to use totally 3 pins, that is X1 and X2. X1 is used for pin number 1 and X2 is used for pin number 2. Here I have clearly indicates. And clock out, we have to use it for 37. So clock signals, pin number 1, pin number 2 and pin number 37. Just you have to check it. Pin number 1, pin number 2, X1 and X2. And pin number 37, we have to use clock out. So what is these functions? That is the X1 and X2 at the pin number clock 1 and clock 2 is a crystal, that is RC, LC and network. Register, inductors and network is connected with these two pins and is used to set frequency of the internal clock generator. So we have to set the frequency of internal clock generator because the clock generator is built in the 8085. We didn't need to use any external clock generator. So that purpose, we have to use it X1 and X2, these two clock frequency for internal clock generator. And this frequency is internally divided by 2 with the X1 and with the X2. So next one, at the output side, the clock driven clock frequency at the output side, it is signal is used as system clock for the devices connected with the microprocessor. That is with the device to the microprocessor. That is the pin number 37. Okay. So next, we have come to the interrupts. So that interrupts and external initiated signals, there are mainly 6 types. INTA at the pin number 11, reset in at the pin number 36, reset out at the pin number 3, read at the pin number 5, that is ready, and hold at the pin number 39, hold acknowledgement, HLDA for hold acknowledgement at the pin number 28. So the first one, that is at the pin number 11, that is interrupt acknowledgement is used. So this interrupt acknowledgement, what it will do? Just it will give the response from the requests in the signals. And at the pin number 36, it is for the reset in. So this signal is used to reset the microprocessor by setting the program counter to 0. So if we are going to set the program counter, PC program counter, that is used for reset in at the pin number 36. And the signal is used to reset all the connected devices, which is when the microprocessor is reset. So in the during the reset of microprocessor to getting the output of a clock generator, that time we are going to use, that is reset out at the pin number 3. And at the pin number 35 of 8085 microprocessor, we have to use it for ready. It means that the data is going to be get ready for execution. So this is the signal indicates the device is ready to send the or receive the data after the execution. If the ready state is low, then the CPU has to wait for the ready to high. Always it will work in the high state. It means that enable means 1. Okay, that is ready state for the pin number 35. And at the pin number 39 of 8085 microprocessor, that is the hold. So this is indicates the another master is requesting the use of the address and the data bus. So you may heard master and slave. So that hold is acts as a master to distributing all its own data to further peripheral devices or any kind of device, other devices. That is, we are going to use it at pin number 39. Okay. And in the pin number 38, we have to use it hold A. It means that hold acknowledgement. What is the acknowledgement? Whatever we are going to respond it, resend it. For example, if I have to got any request, as per the request, I have to provide a data back. It says that acknowledgement, resend or response. So that is, it indicates the CPU as a received hold and hold request, and it will relinquish but next clock cycle. So the hold acknowledgement is set to lower after the hold signal is removed, because after the hold signal only it is going to be activated and it is going to be working on that. So this is all about interrupt and externally initiated signals. 6 types. So next, the last group, that is serial input and output signals. So there are mainly two serial signals are there: serial input data lines and serial output data lines. SID is for serial input data and SOD is for serial output data. So these two signals are used for serial communication. The serial output data lines, that is the SOD, is set and reset for a specified of the serial input, that is serial interrupt mask instruction, that is SI, in the sense what? Set interrupt mask to the SOD, serial output data lines. And the serial input data lines, as the pin number 5, the data on the pin line is loaded and accumulated whenever that read interrupt mask. First one is set interrupt mask at the SOD and read interrupt mask at the SID. So we say it is SIM and RIM instructions is executed. So this is all about the pin diagram of 8085. Totally 9 main groups. That one we are going to be used it here. Okay. First one is address bus, second data bus, third control and status of signals, fourth input and output memory, sixth one is S1 and S0, seventh one is power supply, eighth one is clock signals and interrupt initial signals, and last one is serial input and output signals. So totally 9 group of pins we have to cover all these pin configurations. Okay. So dear all students, you may difficult to remember. That's what I did. You have to categorize it 1 to 40 as per my notes, how I have to categorize it, and each and every pin is used for what and what is the main functionality. Like that you have to study well. Okay. So please, anything else for the pin diagram? So after that I will move to architecture. Once you come to know the introduction, definition of components of microprocessor, system bus, and pin configuration, after that, and the features also you have to study. After that, we will come to know that microprocessor architecture, 8085 microprocessor architecture. So dear all students, this is the microprocessor architecture. I think you may study it, this architecture in your diploma course, isn't it? You may study same architecture. So in the architecture, okay. So this is the architecture. In this architecture, there are different blocks as per pin configuration, as per pin configuration of 8085. So here there is a one internal data bus is there, interrupt control is there, serial input and output control is there. So accumulator, temporary register, flags, arithmetic and logical init, instruction register, instruction decoder, and different types of registers. There are like B, C, D, E, and H and L registers, and also stack pointer, program counter, increment and decrement, and here the address bus, address buffer, and data and address buffer is there. This is a, and there is a timing and control in it. Okay. So dear students, what you will do in the architecture of 8085, in the architecture of 8085, all of you just you have to explain each and every individual block along with these pin numbers. Okay, so this is the architecture. Please, all of you have to draw in your notes. That's the architecture. So now one by one blocks I have to explain. Here also in details, one more architecture I given. This is the better look, and one more I have to given it here. Both are same. Anyone you can use, no problem. So the explanation of this. So accumulator one block, arithmetic and logical units ALU, general purpose registers, and program counter, stack pointer, temporal register, flag register, instruction register and decoder, timing and control units, all and interrupts control, serial input and output control, address buffer and address data bus buffer. So address bus and data bus. Okay, all these clear explanations I given here in the notes. So now just we will go through that explanation as per the architecture of 8085. So at first I have to take it as accumulator. This much explanation is more than enough. Just we have to go through these notes. Okay. So first one, in the architecture of 8085, we are going to use accumulator. So this accumulator is for what? It is for the storage purpose. It is act as a registers. So it is an 8-bit register used to perform arithmetic and logical input and output, that is to load the data and to store the data with the different operations. So it is connected to internal data bus and arithmetic and logical units. So any kind of things that is to load and to store the data in the architecture, we are going to use the accumulator. That is the first block, accumulator, this portion. Okay. Next, I will move to the second point, arithmetic and logical units. As of you know, arithmetic means that arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, mod, these kind of operations, and also along with that logical operations like AND, OR, XOR, XNOR, these kind of operations we have to use arithmetic and logical units. As the name suggests, it performs the arithmetic and logical operations like addition, subtraction, and or and etc on 8-bit data lines. So here the general purpose register. In that general purpose register, we have to use mainly 6 registers. The name of the registers are B, C, D, E, H, and L. So the register, the main use of register is to store the data, all the information. For that, 6 different registers we have to use it. There are 6 general purpose registers in 8085 processor. That is B, C, D, E, H, and L. Each registers can hold 8 bits of lines. That is general purpose registers. After that, we have to use a pair of registers in a 16-bit, that the registers can work pair in the whole 16-bit data, and their pairing combination is B to C, that is BC, DE, and HL. To we have to use it 8-bit, 8-bit. It becomes a 16-bit, that is BC, one combination, one pair, DE register, one more pair, and HL register, one more pair. Okay. So this is the registers. And next one, we are going to use program counter. So program counter is what? It is for the holding the address. So it is a 16-bit higher register used to store the memory address and location for the next instruction to be executed. That is to store the address of next instruction. That is the main function of that program counter here. So the microprocessor increments the program whenever an instruction is being executed, so that the program counter points to the memory address of the next instruction that is going to be executed. Okay. So that is the main functionality of program counter. Next one is the stack pointer. What stack pointer will do? In the stack and queue, it is going to be the 16-bit data is pushes into the stack. It means that the 16-bit register works like stack, which is always incremented or decremented by doing the push and pop operation. Push means what? Something data you have to enter into the stack, and the pop means the data you have to delete or you have to remove from the stack. That is nothing but pop operation. So the pop and push operation is take care by stack pointers. Okay. So the temporary register, next one. In the temporary registers of architecture, it is also a 8-bit register which can hold the temporary data of arithmetic and logical operations. The name itself, it is said that temporary registers, only the temporary data of arithmetic and logical operations is going to be used it here. Okay. So next one, flag registers. There are totally 5 flags we have to use in the 8085 microprocessor. Those are nothing but sign flag, either it may be positive or zero, sorry, positive or negative. That is symbol is S. Next is zero flag, auxiliary carry flag. If the carry is generated at the higher nibble, that time we have to use the auxiliary carry flag. Parity flag, if the two numbers are comes same, it means P, that is parity flag, and the carry flag. So there are 5 flag registers we have to use. These are the very important in the addressing modes. That time I have to explain you all these 5. Okay. So in that next one, that is instruction register and decoder. All these blocks just I have to explain. Okay. Instruction registers and decoder. These are the instruction register and decoder. Flags are there. ALU, temporary register, accumulator. I have to explain it. Okay. So next, I will come to instruction registers and the decoder. What it will do? It will just codes and decodes. Okay. The coming data is used to the machine level language, and again the machine level language to human being understanding purpose. That is in the 8-bit register, whenever an instruction is fetched from memory, then it is stored in the instruction register. Then it is stored in the instruction register. So the instruction decoder decodes the information and present in the instruction register, isn't it? And next one, that is timing and control unit. Very important block, this one. So in that we have to use the control signals, data signals, dynamic memory access signals, set and reset signals. That is set in and reset out purpose. So it provides timing and control signals to the microprocessor to perform operations following out these timing and instructions, timing control instructions, because the control of timing is very important while to do the functioning of this microprocessor or working condition of this microprocessor. Okay. So next one, that is interrupt control. So in this interrupt controls, mainly we have to use the 5 interrupts: interrupt, trap, and trap is here, interrupt, trap, and 3 types of this RST: 7.5, 6.5, and 5.5. So those 5 interrupts we have to use it. Actually, the interrupt means what? There is a some abnormal conditions is going to be happen in the execution of microprocessor program. So again, in that interrupt, there are 2 types: maskable interrupts and non-maskable interrupts, and remaining reset interrupts, trap interrupts are there. That again, this one we are going to discuss in the unit number 5. The unit number 5 is totally depends upon that name itself is interrupts. Entire interrupt concept we have to study it in the unit number 5. And the next one, that is serial input and output control. For the control of data transmission between serially, for the input and output, we have to use this function in this block. In this, it controls the serial data communication by using 2 instructions, that is SID and SOD, serial input data and serial output data. That is the input and output control. Okay. So next one, that is address buffer and address data buffer at the last block, right bottom. So this address buffer and the address data buffer that content to stored in the stack pointer and the program counter is loaded in the register of buffers, address buffers and data address buffer to communicate with the CPU, central processing unit. So the memory and input and output chips are connected with these buses. That is going to be done in the address buffer and data buffer. Okay. So next one, that is a data bus, address bus and data buses. Buffer is different, bus is different. Buffer is means what? It is loading, it is storing. Bus means it is a transferring agent. So this is the last stage of this architecture. So here we have to use address bus and address buffer, data buffer. Okay. So in that address bus is used just for the data bus carries the data to be stored. It is a bidirectional one, whereas the address bus carries this location to where it should be stored in it. So it is a unidirectional and it is used to transfer the data and address input and output devices. The data and the information that is going to be transferred between data buses and the address buses. That is the entire architecture of this 8085. So dear all students, very well defined nodes already I provided you. Just you have to go through it. So just at the end of this unit, I have to make it a summary. So in the unit number 1, so the unit number 1, it is just for the 4 hours chapter. In that, whatever the things we have to cover, I have to cover the things introduction to microprocessor. In that, definition and introductions we covered. Second point, components of the microprocessor we covered, that arithmetic and logical unit, register array and control unit. And the third point in this introduction, we have to cover system bus, data address and control bus, that is address bus, data bus and control buses. And also we have to study microprocessor system bus with bus organization. And the features and pin diagrams we have to study today only. Whatever I have to explain all 40 pins. And the architecture of microprocessor, all these blocks we have to study. Okay. So dear all students, okay, this is all about your first unit and very simple. Everything is, just you for it is for your replacement, because all these things whatever I have to cover, you studied in your diploma course, right? So just for it's a replacement, so I have to make it clear notes as per the syllabus prescribed by PH University Solapur. Just you have to go through it, and if you have any doubts or any queries, please you have to discuss in next lecture. Okay. So here only rule number 10 is absent. Remaining all are present. Okay. Who is Ganesh Imugude? Please you have to mention your name as C underscore rule number underscore your name. You have to remove Ganesh Imgude, Lamgunde. Okay, Mr. Ganesh, you have to
Okay.
your naming conventions.
Okay.
Are you here? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Fine. Okay. So, dear
Okay.
all students, again you have a next lecture at 3:30. So I will stop it here. Again, we will meet in next lecture. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Now you can leave the meeting and join to next lecture.